When I interview somebody, I really just ask them to tell me the story of their career and what are some of the tougher problems that they dealt with.
Hey there, and welcome to Investing Guide. Elon Musk and SpaceX are coming under pretty heavy fire for these last few days, from none other than the United States Justice Department. The world's leading private space company has recently received and has been forced to comply with a subpoena. This is all part of a serious and extremely intensive investigation into whether SpaceX has been illegally discriminating against foreign applicants. These are extremely grave allegations, and the fact that the Justice Department is looking further into it is definitely not a good sign. Even though some pretty messy things could be discovered, a lot of damage has already been done to the public image of both SpaceX and tech-billionaire Elon Musk. SpaceX is still a privately funded company, which talks about going public. Stay tuned until the end of this video as we discuss whether this investigation has damaged Elon's plans for the future of the company and going to Mars. SpaceX initially fired back against the Justice Department, stating that the subpoena was a classic example of government overreach. This has been overturned, and we are finally going to get some real answers behind the potentially racist hiring policies at SpaceX. SpaceX has chosen to remain silent on the rejection and is now forced to let the Justice Department have a closer look. Definitely very unlike the company that usually likes to take to Twitter and is well known around the world as having a good sense of humor. This whole incident started due to an applicant being rejected for a position at the company. Although professionally qualified, the applicant was ultimately turned down. Nothing strange there. Everyone wants to work at SpaceX. Rejection must be second nature to them. The odd thing was the series of questions that the applicant faced during the interview. Allegedly, there was a lot of questions about his citizenship status, and he was eventually passed over due to not being a US citizen or lawful permanent resident. This discrimination against foreign applicants during the hiring process is a serious issue. The general consensus is that SpaceX and its attempts to reject the subpoena from the Justice Department is definitely not a good sign, and perhaps a clear indication of some serious mistreatment against non-US citizens. SpaceX actually went on the attack with its response to the allegations made against the company, firstly referring to the subpoena as the very definition of government overreach, and then attempting to debase the witness by saying he was making some very frivolous allegations. It is no surprise that the world-famous head of SpaceX, Elon Musk, has steered pretty clear of the whole issue. Musk loves voicing out his opinions, and has become a household name thanks to his many famous Twitter arguments, interesting interviews, and funny responses. However, it's no surprise that Musk has chosen to remain exceptionally quiet when it comes to the alleged racist and nationalist preferences when hiring. These are the sorts of rumors that are extremely messy and easy to stick to a reputation, and Musk wants nothing to do with it. Don't get us wrong though, Elon Musk is not afraid of the government. He has clashed many times with the US government and has made it very clear how he would run the country in a better way, criticizing the Securities and Exchange Commission, even calling the government legislation as fascist rules at one point. Musk has actually addressed similar concerns many years ago. In 2016, he publicly asked why SpaceX doesn't branch out and become a truly international company. Why does it choose to remain so grounded in the United States and only hire Americans? Elon Musk has a very simple answer: the US government. He answered up the fact that working on rockets and rocket technology has been defined by the US government as advanced weapons technology. As such, a normal work visa just isn't enough to bring someone from another country for an advanced weapons-related job. The sort of visas to bring in non-US citizens need a signature from the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of the State. It's just really not worth the effort. This seems consistent with the fact that Tesla, his US-based electric vehicle company, actually has a large number of foreign workers. Around 30 to 40% of Tesla are not US citizens and operate on a work visa. During the 2016 work conference, Musk beautifully turned the question around and shone a light on the US government and its strict policy for visas.
But if you're working on rocket technology, that's considered an advanced weapons technology. So even a normal work visa isn't sufficient unless you get a special permission from the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of State.
When you fast forward to 2021 and realize that the rejected applicant was interviewing for the position of Technology Strategy Associate, well, maybe that argument really doesn't hold up anymore. If we really get into it, Elon Musk himself wasn't actually born in the United States. He was born in South Africa. Although his multi-billion-dollar companies, Tesla and SpaceX, are both based and largely operate there, Musk himself has a more colourful history. Actually born and spending most of his childhood in South Africa, Musk took advantage of his mother's Canadian heritage in order to attend the University of Canada. He later looked to further his studies and began his career in America. He, of all people, should be sympathetic to the struggles and hardships of an immigrant, right? The way he speaks out against the US government and the SEC, well, it's fair to say that he's really adopted the American way. But do his companies have a problem with letting other foreigners experience the American lifestyle? Many people are actually drawing links between Elon Musk and his outspoken public views against the government, claiming that there is a clear link between Musk's actions and the pretty ludicrous claims that the Justice Department is following upon. The fact that a multi-billion-dollar company is coming under such scrutiny purely off the word of a single disgruntled applicant? It's not like a class action lawsuit of 20 individuals that experienced and had proof of unfair discrimination from SpaceX during their interviews. It is clear to see why this rumor is gaining a lot of traction. Extremely interesting wording was actually used during the secondary court appeal of the Justice Department. The official request states that the investigation is not limited to specific allegations, but may actually expand to any pattern or practice of discrimination. This is the sort of open-ended wording in legal documents that will give the Justice Department full freedom when looking at the internal documents at SpaceX. Truth be told, many people must be thinking that SpaceX rejecting the Justice Department's initial inquiries and lashing back might be a sign of the company being guilty of discriminatory hiring practices. Honestly, many companies don't want the general public to know what they think of when looking for an applicant. Think about it like this: if people knew exactly what their dream company was looking for, then they would change their whole life plan. Change what they study, change how they behave, change how they act. SpaceX and Tesla do not want people to know what they look for in an applicant, because then they will be seeing even more candidates that fulfill exactly what they're looking for. They would have to rework their hiring system from the ground up, a really unnecessary hassle, especially considering all of this is because one single person didn't get a job that they may not have gotten anyway. Although it is still far too early to guess the outcome of this investigation, and as to whether or not SpaceX does indeed have any discriminatory hiring practices, many people are divided on the issue. It's clear that Musk and the US government didn't have a fantastic relationship. Although these allegations are serious, the basis of all of this seems extremely vague. On the other hand, SpaceX refusing to hand over documents could be a sign of guilt. And Elon has even gone on record previously stating that the company is legally incentivized to hire American professionals for more rocketeering-oriented positions. It remains yet to be seen how SpaceX plans on responding to the news. If anything, the community's up in arms about it. These sorts of allegations open up a whole new can of worms when it comes to foreign workers, migrants, and things like that. It is certainly very wise of Elon to remain pretty quiet on all of this. But we're here and we'll be covering it, so definitely tune in, because we plan on following this story closely and aim to keep you fully up to date. Regardless of whether unfair hiring practices are discovered or not, it is good that these concerns are getting addressed right now. Elon Musk has made his long-term intentions for SpaceX clear, transporting the human race to Mars and setting up a colony planet. These sorts of issues, such as discriminatory hiring practices, would enter when it comes to that, and it would make many people extremely uncomfortable. What do you think? Did we manage to cover both sides of the story? Did we miss anything? Let us know what you think in the comments, and while you're here, check out one of these two videos on your screen.